If you're new to our channel, we are John and Bev, and we're the Retirement Travelers. Bev's behind the camera today, so it's just me. And if you know our story, we sold everything at age 55 to go travel the world full time. We do a weekly travel vlog on one of our adventures around the world, and we also do how-to videos on retirement and traveling. And it's probably a pretty good thing we picked the name Retirement Travelers. Today we are in Venice, Italy. This amazing town of canals, bridges, and alleys is actually built on 100 small islands, and we've had fun exploring it. In fact, we've gotten lost a couple times here exploring it, but we can't help you navigate Venice, but what we can do perhaps is help you navigate the question, can you retire now? And that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to ask 6 questions that may help you decide, are you ready to retire, and maybe give you some pointers that will help you accelerate along that path. So let's get started.
We're John and Bev, and we are the Retirement Travelers.
We get a lot of questions on both retirement and travel. In fact, we recently did a video on 5 things we wish we knew before retirement. Now that video was all about the non-financial aspects of retirement, basically our mental process about how to live your best retirement. Today's video is going to be more about the financial preparedness of retirement. Now, we are not professional financial planners, okay? Not in any way, shape, or form, but we know where to go. We have a great financial planning team, and they're really teachers at heart. They've taught us a lot, and we think that's really important when you go to select a retirement planner. Now, we're going to leave their link below, and we encourage you to give them a call, but whoever you go with a teacher and go with someone you trust. So before we get started on the questions, there's one key concept I want to go over, and that's your FI number, or your financial independence number. You may have also heard it as the rule of 25 or the 4% rule. It's got lots of different names, but let's just quickly go over the concept. What it means is at retirement age, you need approximately 25 times what you expect to spend in retirement. And what that will do for you is give you about a 4% average return on your investment income and allow you to have enough income to retire. So let me give you an example of how this works. Let's say you're a couple that's nearing retirement and you have $80,000 of income. You believe that you need at least $60,000 of income annually in retirement to get by. If you multiply that number by 25, it would be 1.5 million. Now you take a look at your actual retirement savings, and let's just say it's 600,000. If you take 600,000 divided by 60, your FI score would be 10 instead of 25. Now this can be very discouraging to a lot of people, knowing that they have such a long way to go on retirement savings. But what we're going to do today is talk about these 6 simple questions, and we believe if you really understand the concepts behind each of these, you can quickly accelerate that number and retire sooner than you think. So the first question is probably the most important one to us, and that is, are you debt-free or at least close to debt-free? And if you can answer yes to this, congratulations. Only 23% of people enter retirement debt-free now. You know, consumer debt is a retirement killer in America. There's over $16 trillion of consumer debt. And what that means is every family has over $150,000 of debt now. You know, things like mortgages and credit cards and cars and student loans. These are the things that are keeping people from retiring when they really want to. We made this the very first question because we think it's the most important. We know how much our lives changed when we got debt-free. It's really the key enabler and the starting point to getting to an early retirement. It's hard to get ahead when you can't get even. So anything that you can do to make this a priority and get debt-free, that's the first action you need to take. The second question is really important as well, is can you reduce your annual spend? Now, most people might think, you know what, high inflation now, the cost of everything is going up. It might be easy to say, no, I don't think we can. But let us tell you a story. You know, we entered retirement debt-free, but we still found tons of wasteful spending. We bought stuff that we didn't need. We ate out too much. There was a number of things, subscriptions that we didn't even use. there was a number of things that we did to lower our expenses. Now, we went a little bit crazy with it. We sold our house, cars, and everything we own, and basically have no expenses from a household living standpoint now. But that's not what we're asking you to do. We believe if you take a good hard look at your annual spending, you can make some significant reductions. So one thing to keep in mind, let's just say you could save $1,000 a month. That would be a $12,000 a year spend, and when you multiply that by 25, that is $300,000. That $300,000 in savings could be the difference between retiring now and retiring several years from now. And take it from us, you want to retire now. The third question is, do you have a plan for some big one-time expenses coming up? We hear a lot of people say, I can't retire yet because, I've got a couple of kids, I got weddings to pay for, I've got a kid in college still, and we don't believe that these are the kind of things that should delay your retirement. And let us tell you why. Let's take college, for example. We're firm believers that, parents should help their kids with college, as we did. But you got to set a limit. Maybe you pick 2, 3, or 4 years, whatever you can afford, to help your child in an in-state college. If they want to go out of state, or they want to go to a private school, or they want to goof off and go for 5 or 6 years, that's on them. That's the time to have a grown-up talk with them and say, Susie, you're delaying our retirement. This is how much we have for college. The same goes for weddings. Pick an amount that you're comfortable with and say, we will contribute X amount to your wedding. If they want a grand wedding with 500 people, at a fantastic place, that becomes on them. We gave our kids options. Do you want it for the wedding, or you do want it for a down payment of your house? Other things like home maintenance or a roof replacement or a new car, perhaps there's some things you can do, like downsize to a low maintenance place. You can buy a cheaper used car, or even perhaps move to an area where that's very walkable. These are all things that are within your control, so that you can answer yes, that you do have a plan for any big one-time items coming up. The fourth question, now this is a fun one and it's a biggie. Do you have any other forms of additional income coming in? Now, let's get creative here. Maybe you have an extra room in your house. Can you rent it out as Airbnb? Maybe you have extra garage space. Can you use it for someone to pay you to store their stuff there? Maybe you have an online business, or you want to teach part-time. The options are limitless. For our side hustle, we have a YouTube channel and we're loving it. So make sure you hit subscribe and help us out. Now, you might be one of those people that just love your job and you don't want a side hustle. You just keep on working. But if you have an interest to retire sooner, start following your passion and do something you love and start generating some additional income, preferably passive. Now, let me give you an example. For every $10,000 that you can earn in income each year, that is $250,000 that you don't need for retirement savings. That's huge, and that might be the difference between several years of when you can retire. So the fifth question is, do you have bridge income available if you want to retire early? And we're not talking about the beautiful bridge that's behind me here in Venice. We're talking about income that will carry you to your normal retirement age. And here's some examples. If you retire before the age of 59 and a half, are you counting on income from your 401k? If you're trying to get to Medicare and you're not 65, what do you have planned for your health coverage? Social Security, depending on when you want to take that, do you have funds to bridge you to where you're going to get Social Security? These are very important aspects that you need to know if you're going to retire early. So we fell into this category. We retired at age 55 and we needed bridge funds. But we prepared for it and we're taking lots of actions, one of which is we're getting our medical done overseas. We're also spending a significant amount of time overseas. Now, here's an idea for you. You want to retire early, but you don't have adequate bridge funds to get by to, say, age 62 or 65. Go live in a foreign country for 6 months a year or for 5 or 6 years. For example, down in Colombia, the cost of living is right about half or less of what it is in the United States. That might be the difference between being able to retire at 55 and having to wait till 62. So it's something to think about. prepare and get those bridge funds taken care of. So the sixth question is, are you willing to take some level of risk? Okay, you know, you can't control everything. The stock market goes up and down. High inflation is a huge concern right now. You know, I think we're all seeing that. You can't necessarily have 50 times what you need in retirement. Okay, if you wait for everything to be perfect so that you're guaranteed everything in retirement, you may be waiting a lot of years to be able to retire. Okay, remember, your best retirement years are sooner rather than later. So be willing to take some level of risk if you want to retire now. So we've done all 6 questions, and maybe you're thinking to yourself, we're not there yet. You know, you calculated how much you have in savings, you calculated how much you think you need to get by in retirement, and you might have a FI number of only, say, 15 times what you think you need. Well, we're telling you, you can get there. If you really go after reducing your debt, downsizing your home, changing your spending habits, and looking for additional sources of income, we firmly believe that you can accelerate. It may not be immediately, but you can take whatever your retirement plan is and move it up sooner, and we think you'll love it. We hope you found value with today's video, and if you did, make sure you hit subscribe and smash that like button. You know, part of what we want to do with this channel is to inspire people to live their best retirement lives, go have some fun, and go travel the world. And that's what we're doing in this side hustle. And when you hit subscribe and watch our videos, it sure helps us out. So here's to you living your best retirement life. If you got any questions or comments, leave them below. We'd love to hear from you. Be sure to hit subscribe and follow along on our retirement journey around the world.